Thank you for listening to the TeethTalks.net podcast, the show that brings you information, guidance, and support to entrepreneur-minded individuals like yourself. TeethTalks.net will give you something to talk about tomorrow. This isn't the daily show, but this is the show where you'll get everything. You'll get a fiesta of a mix with the old and the new. They will give you tips and insights into everyday business, big wins in everyday life. They have a lot to add, from bookkeeping to sales, sales management, and sales training, and daily content for listeners to learn and enjoy. We are here to improve your life in business or a sales career. Without any further ado, introducing the dynamic duo, Alex DeLuca and Rafael Rodriguez Jr.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening.
Well, boy, oh boy, we are back live. Teeth Talks, ladies and gentlemen, put it in the calendars. September 1st, 10 p.m. on the dot. Ralph, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, having the time of my life.
Having the time of my life. That's on the daily, man. Getting into the nitty gritty. It's been quite a few days since we've been live on this the Riverside, the podcast. Getting back to Teeth Talks, man, it's exciting.
Well, it's never late, so just glad we're back at it again. Episode 60. That's how we'll start, plus or minus. Think having some technical difficulties with the camera. Keeps flashing on and off. I'll have to check on that. But meanwhile, September 1st, 2021, what do we have for today?
We had a goal about getting back on track, getting Teeth Talks going. We've both been busy. Ralph, we're going to tell a little bit about me and you, what we're getting into for the next 10 episodes. We'll talk about some current events, but hey, this is Teeth Talks. Have some fun. Action-packed, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, however long it may be, but we will have some fun and try to cram as much information as always. And hey, we're learning, you're learning, and we're going to have some fun. We were getting quite a following. Everybody knows I am back, if you didn't, in Broward County, and making it happen. This is a brand new studio set up. I don't know if you like my wall.
Yeah, it's pretty white.
Yes, man.
Yeah, man.
So, what have you been up to, Ralph? Tell us what's new, what's going on, what achievements. We're in the construction realm, the digital marketing realm, and we've both been pretty busy bees since the last episode, which I don't even know, it's two months ago.
Don't know, but regardless, we're back, and one of the things that it's not about where you dropped off, is where you pick off. So and you keep going, because it doesn't matter in your career if you're 60 years old, 70 years old. I believe the story about Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was 62. When he finally really made it and made it big. So,
Awesome.
I always go back to that story that, it's never old to start or to finish something that you try to accomplish.
And that's huge, right on that topic, as we're all trying to achieve our personal, goals or whatever it may be, but it's never too late. We only got one shot at this thing we call life, and no matter how many times you fail, succeed, there's always a will, there's a way in yourself to get things done. There's always exciting things around the corner. We'll dive right into that.
Great. I'm still checking to see the situation with the camera flickering on and off.
Blinking
So
back and forth, So just to give the audience a little tune, and Ralph's the technical guy. He's having the camera problems. I am not the technical guy, and it seems to be working. We've learned how to bring our presence online, and it's been a pretty fun journey. Producer is not recording.
Well, anyways, whoops.
And the camera will keep blinking in and out. So I see that you have some Disney animals over there.
Well, those are my my hanging. Well, you guys never seen my studio from the lights.
It's phenomenal over there.
So we got a couple things going on. This is you.
Hi. How are you?
And we have our different things going on, and of course my backdrop. Viva Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. When's the last time you were in Vegas?
It's actually been almost 2 years, maybe no 3 years.
3 years, and Vegas is. I've only been there once, but wow, that's a city of lights, and endless possibilities on the gambling table. Ralph, since we are fresh introducing ourselves, I'm going to go through about 10 different topics for the next 10 days. And the first one, it's the intro. Let's go ahead and, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, background, what you're doing now, what's brewing in the kitchen.
Well, I have a couple degrees, human resource, accounting, masters in business intelligence, and I'm somewhat of a scholar guy, getting my DBI, my doctorate in business and DBA administration, and focusing on leadership and focusing on organizational behavior. So it's a pretty good mix. Like I said, it's never too old to learn, and this is I don't even consider it school. I just consider it my hobby. I think that knowledge is power, and we got a couple books under our belt. The Killer Salesperson Within You. Those were my years of training sales rep and hiring and onboarding and having sales goals and making sure that we hit every single week. And people might know True Green, Camelon, or True Green now, as it is now. And we were number 2 in the nation. We never got to number 1, but number 2 in the nation for 4 consecutive years. And we had, out of the top 10% of the sales team in the state of Florida, we always had a minimum of 7 to 8 guys on the top 10. So we really had the magic sauce when it came to hitting numbers and training and putting a winning team together. And it's funny because one of the things that they wanted to find out what was going on, so we took the corporate came in and started taking some behavioral tests on our top sales guys, and on some of these results, the test was saying do not hire them.
Oh, jeez.
We're like, so this is what you want to start going forward and start applying. I don't think it's going to go too well if our top guys are being rejects based on your test results. So, a lot of times you got to go with your gut feeling. You got to go with, it's the connection, and the guys are willing to go and go to the end for you, and giving them the opportunity to change their lifestyle, because we really changed some people's lifestyles along the way, and that's one of my biggest thing that I took away from all that time, is that it's not how much money these guys were making, but just how they changed their lifestyle completely. From making $20,000-$30,000 a year to making $80,000 to $100,000 a year. That's a life-changing event, and it wasn't overnight. So
life-changing for sure, indeed.
Indeed, right? So
And that's one of the reasons why we put this together. It all goes back to that, just giving back. COVID started. We're used to training people, interviewing people, recruiting people, hiring left and right. COVID happened. This podcast was created, so we're going to do our best to give it the guts, the nitty gritty, talk about some business, life success, and some tips. Big wins in business. Was that the slogan?
absolutely, and what it is, it's all this magic sauce being put together to try to get that magic recipe. And
magic moment.
It's a magic moment, baby. You know it. But it does take dedication. It does take a lot of sweat equity and a lot of hard work. It doesn't happen overnight, that's for sure. It took us almost 2 years putting the team together to eventually kick it off. And the 80-20 rule is so important in anything that you do. One of the things that every year we had to hire for our season, we had to hire almost 2/3 of our sales force, and by June we will only keep the 1/3, and 1/3 always made up of our veterans. And the key to every single year is to make sure that your 20% that you roll over, you actually have a good 20%. So when that 80% comes in, that's the standard.
Standard.
It's funny. I was reading somewhere that if you walk around with people that make $10,000-$15,000 a month, it's not the same as walking around with people that make $2,000 to $3,000 a month. It's a completely different mentality. Matter of fact, once you start dealing and working with people that make $10,000 to $15,000 a month, it's almost that's a given. That's like standard. And it's you have to have a different mentality. You no longer worry about the $20, $30, $40, and you don't, because sometimes you have to spend money to get money.
And that aspect is right on any business front. We're in the construction world. 100% takes money to make money. Before we jumped on to this podcast tonight, I was on Alibaba.com. I'm like, what's selling right now at a good price to buy and sell? There's so many different avenues out there. I just envision so many different things, and it's funny how memes pop up nowadays. But how much is it to make $1 million a year? What's it, like 2,300, 2,400, something around there a day? A day. So how many different products out there? You sell this pen, you make X. You sell a car, you make X. True Green, you make X. Which products can you sell that can bring you that $2,000 a day, $10,000 a week, whatever it may be, to get you to that number? You put in the same amount of time and effort selling one product than you do the next, and that's why we're in the realms that we're in for the most part.
Well, and that's the reason why we consider ourselves the entrepreneur. And at the beginning, as anything that you start, it's going to be a little rough, and there's always that uncertainty that exists because you don't have that paycheck that comes on a regular basis. And guys and girls and whoever is listening, is that if that what makes you happy, it's okay. You can have a 9 to 5 and Monday through Friday, and if that makes you happy, hey, more power to you. Because we do need those people that work from 9 to 5, and we do need people that work, in the McDonald's and the Burger King and the service industry. We need people to wash our cars. We need people to clean the houses. We need people to do construction. I mean, we need all these people. Now, if you feel that there's something missing, that you think that you could be greater, go for it.
go for it. Reach
Go for it.
You know, you read and about goals, motivation. Every one of us, everybody has a chance to change their stars. Getting back on topic, because ladies and gentlemen, you will realize that we will go off on tangents if it feels good to. We'll have a topic in front of us. We'll try to stick to it as best as we can. Questions, input is always welcome. We do keep the chat open. And we're going to start catching some ground. T-Talks. We're going to do this a few nights a week. Ralph, we haven't officially discussed that, but we're not going anywhere. What do we have for, before we dive into a little bit about the entry and the intro in the sales process? I definitely want us to touch base. The next 10 days, we'll take some time out and take these topics into our concentration. We have the entry, the warm-up, creating the need, the company story, your kill options, product presentation, your pre-close, your close, your post-close, and replacing the lead. And that's how you grow. Over the next 10 days, we will touch base on one of those in episode, as well as a lot of other tangent-required topics through our half-hour, 45-minute shows. What did you say there, Ralph?
Well, I'm going to tell you the way I've been teaching it and know it by heart is that you sell yourself, you sell the company, you create the need, you satisfy the need, you close, and you wrap it up. There's a 6-step process, and it's very simple. And this is what sold millions and millions and millions of dollars over the years, the last 20 years. Just using those 6 different steps to a sale, and it's not that complicated. You can make it more complicated than you need to. Matter of fact, we've proven time and time again that you don't need a lot of knowledge to sell. All you need is a script. All you need to know is your objections, and from every objection, you go to a close. For every objection, you satisfy the objection and you close. So all we do is that, believe it or not, I had non-salespeople that we turn into salespeople, and we used to put them in with their hands. Okay, so what stage are we in now? We're in stage 1. Okay, what stage are we now? 2. Okay, what stage are we now? 3. And I'll throw an objection. And then from the objection, you satisfy the objection, and you immediately go to the close.
Close.
Well, and the hardest part of the sales cycle, you know what it is? People just don't like to ask for the sale.
And that, with all the experience I have in my young life, Ralph, that I seem to be the funnest part is to just ask for the money. It's like, they want it. Ask for the money. Seems to be one of the hardest parts to teach. But once that's taught and you're confident in doing that, you're confident behind the company, whatever product you're selling, you believe in it, asking for the money should be the easy part. Ralph, current events. What do we have going on in the world? Cryptocurrencies. How's your Dogecoin doing? How's all that
my
stuff?
Doge is doing great. When you bought it at 0.0002 something, anything other than that is great.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, my average cost has gone up because I do buy and sell. I buy the dip, I sell. I buy the dip, I sell. I buy the dip and I sell. I'm not one of those, holders that want to keep it till it hits $1. I want to take the profit now, and again, I still have probably very few from the 0.00002.
You might have it, or are they all gone by now?
No, my average price is definitely much higher. I think my average price now is around 16 cents.
And it rests at about 30. And we were going in and out of that, just like buying the dips. It was a pretty fun experience with all the other, they all go up and down the same, I feel like, in the whole cryptocurrency world. You were actually one of the original holders of those Bitcoins from way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you just what's the worst thing that could happen? So you lose $200, and that's basically how much I put in, $200.
Phenomenal.
And I got a total of 5. I got rid of 2 when it was kind of high, and right now we got the 3 and some change just sitting there waiting for something to happen. I mean, I believe it's at 47 right now.
Yeah, it's I wasn't tracking the Bitcoin earlier, but yes, it and it did get up to around the 60 point at one point.
It's up 49 right now.
49. So it was almost at the 50.
But I have a friend of mine that he actually had around 30,000 Dodge, and he bought it for around. He put in a total of maybe $60, and he only sold a very small percentage, around 10% of it, when it hit a little bit high. But and I told him that, because I actually got him into Dodge, and I kept saying, "Hey, buy it, because something's gonna happen," and he put $60 in it. And my daughter too. She bought some, and I mean, she literally put maybe $20, $30, and I mean, she did great too. But the idea is that if you have money to spare, just throw it in there and see what happens. I mean, there's a bunch of coins that are coming out. It's getting a little bit ridiculous because there's
just a little bit. You want to start our own coin?
And it's easy to start a coin, and that's part of the problem, since it's not regulated, and anybody can jump in and put a coin together. And really, I can do a coin within the next 2 hours. I can have a coin already out. But when it's so diluted, it changes the playing field. And it happens in a lot of industries. Look at roofing. How many roofers are there? Out there. There's thousands of roofers, and now the pricing that we got 5-6 years ago, it's not the same that you're getting today because of the competition. That there's so much out there.
So much out there. It's so fun.
There is, and some of them are you got to be legit, and people are intelligent enough to do their due diligence and see the reputation of the company, and nowadays online reputation is so huge, because that's really that's really what you have to go by. And if you're not watching your reputation online, it could really hurt you.
We talk about that all the time. You are a media shoe company. You are a media construction company. Everything has to be online. Dot your I's, cross your T's, get your reviews, get your likes, build your presence, make sure it's functioning, make sure it's live, personal. We talk about this all the time. We've been consulting for general contractors for a good part of 3-4 years now, having some fun doing it. And back on the roofing topic, shout out to our sponsors. We have DMS Construction,
DMS Contractors,
Contractors, Lasco Renovations. Shout out to our sponsors real quick for all your roofing and window needs.
The repair specialists.
Yes. Into the current events, we did. We talked about Dogecoin a little bit. Didn't want to not get political, but bring up Afghanistan. Thoughts and prayers to all families, everybody that's affected by that right now. One of the more chaotic situations going on, that's for sure.
And the people of New Orleans that just went through Hurricane Ida, and hopefully we pray for a speedy recovery. And it's hard. We've been lucky that we haven't had a direct hit for a while, and
yes.
Such as Andrew. You were probably a little munchkin when Andrews came by.
Definitely in elementary school when that hurricane did hit. But yeah, definitely thoughts and prayers, Louisiana. All the people getting rain up the coast right now. It's making its way into the Northeast. Just everything stays safe, but hope the floods reside and things get back as soon as possible in that area.
Well, and the Afghanistan, we're kind of glad that we pulled out. Kind of sad that we did. That's a complete different story. That well, I'll take a fifth on it, and we'll move on.
Maybe we can set up a talk show just for that. My wife would love that. To discuss those current affairs.
Well, current affairs. It's good. They're a great conversation piece. You just got to be careful about it, because when you're selling yourself in the sales cycle, you have to be a little bit wealth of information so you can pretty much have a cultural conversation with the person that you're talking to, especially if they are into current event. It's all about mimicking and mirroring, because people buy from people they like, and people like the people that are almost like you. So you have to be a little chameleon and make sure that you're mimicking exactly, that buyer's momentum, so you can go ahead and start pairing your thoughts and pairing the buying signal that you're looking for. Because I love Joe Bono, the way that he always shook his head yes when he was talking to people, and you're basically just conveying the yes. You're not conveying a no.
That's so huge information. Huge. The chameleon, the magician. I call it the Jedi mind tricks. You said it yourself. Knowledge is power. Not only book smarts, education, but the current events, knowing what's going on around you, being able to read people. You said you touched base on psychology in some of your studies. I was born in the field of sales. I've been fortunate to be a top sales rep in many different industries, selling from direct TV to telecom to life, health insurance to cars, now construction. I had an opportunity to go to all the different sales trainings that all those big companies had to offer, whether from here to Huntsville, Alabama, Texas, wherever it may be. And it all teaches you the building the rapport parts, the building the rapport, being the chameleon, finding common ground, talking, letting them talk. And at the end of the day, it's fun to reteach that to somebody else. And that's what we're doing today, having a lot of fun doing it. We're honing our skills and, kind of create other skills as well.
Well, and back to the sales, and even though we are going to break it up into different pieces, it's all about how you tango. This is dancing. It's being able to go out and call on that person that was sitting down, that wasn't thinking about dancing. Now you're going to go ahead and have them think about dancing and to dance with you. Then you got to maintain the rhythm and hopefully dance at the same speed, at the same, at the same rhythm, and hopefully that both can enjoy it. So you can go ahead and ask for another dance right after. In this case, that will be your close, that you're able to, literally pick that person up again. And there's no difference between selling, dancing, report, being a chameleon. It all requires assimilation. It all requires sometimes to be quiet and listening. Some sales reps have the problem of they do all the talking, and if you do all the talking, you cannot listen to the buying signals, and you cannot listen or ask. You don't have objections to even.
God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, I love this flickering of my camera. It's killing me.
It reminds me of the government just tracking your screen every 5 seconds to see what you're doing.
I could be. We're sharing a lot of information. A couple of things that we should do is that we should incorporate some of the text of the book we can incorporate it on the next couple series, and that way we have a platform that we can use to maintain ourselves and topic, because we want to make sure that we're not just catering ourselves, but we're catering to our audience, and hopefully they can feel that they're getting something out of it, and other than just two guys talking about different things and jumping around. We want to make sure that we do give them, that you can take something away from each conversation each time that you're watching one of these podcasts, video casts, or that you take something away, and that's a key. Regardless of what we might talk about, we try to keep it interesting, because otherwise two guys just talking blah 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 blah, it could get very monotonous. It could get very boring, and and I sat through scholarly speeches, for an hour, and you want to shoot yourself right after, because the professor is just reading off the, his teleprompt, and or just reading right from the slide, and you're like, come on, give me something else other than just reading. I could have read it,
That's one thing that you'll never get here, is reading off a script. I got a couple different notes in front of me. Sometimes we'll share our notes of the episode. Sometimes we'll be more on points. But this whole episode was about the entry. That was one of the first topics of the 10 that we'll go over, the 10 different days. We might rename them differently, but the entry is the introduction. We did get to reintroduce ourselves again. I'm Alex DeLuca. That's Rafael Rodriguez. We are both the hosts of this show, Tea Talks. Look, and he just said it perfectly. If we can give one person an idea and help one person to show we did our job, we can go to bed happy at night and wake up and rock the world again the next day. So the entry, the introduction is huge. I hope that we bred positivity onto the screen, because at the end of the day, that's one huge part of selling yourself. Like Ralph said, one of the first steps is your entry. You breed positivity. You multiply that at the door. You're smiling. You're enthusiastic. Your C factors are firing on all cylinders. And that's some fun stuff. Ralph, what else would you like to add on the introduction, the entry, the first part of the pitch?
Definitely, it's all about, it's not just the talk, it's the image.
Right on top.
The intro, selling yourself, selling the company. Selling yourself is about being on point, being that clean cut, clean shaven, businessman look alike, trustworthy by just of eyesight, and these are things that you do. Unfortunately, if you got gold teeth, you might want to pull them out. If you got earrings, you might want to take them out. If you got a nose pierce, you might want to take it out. And there's nothing wrong. Please don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong by wearing this.
There's nothing wrong with any of that at all. But we're all firm believers of, especially when you're new at something. Especially if you're new at sales, you got to fake it so you make it. So you could, if you have more experience, you might get away with a couple more of these things that he's talking about. But just think of it as the 2-minute drill, right? You literally have 2 minutes from the time that door opens for that person to make an opinion of you. So what do you have to do in those 2 minutes? You could also take they say a job interview approach. So every sales call you're going on, you're applying for a job. There's somebody that's been there before you and somebody that's going to be there when you leave. So you bring your A game. You're taking everything out, like he's saying. You're making sure this button's buttoned up, checking my nose hairs before I go into the appointment. Whatever you need to do subconsciously to make yourself be that rock star.
Well, you got to look in the mirror and say, "Will you buy from this guy?" And if you take a couple seconds to kind of pause and think about it, your hair is not neat. It's all messy. Your shirt is dirty. Your shirt is wrinkled. Your shoes are dirty. I mean, these are all things that they're very small, titty stuff that really it could make a big impact.
And that's we always talk about being prepared, right? The 10 steps to success. Be prepared was in there. Having your company information on the company letterhead, the company folder. Everything to make it that much more official. It is definitely on your side. The entry. What else can we talk about? Definitely forgetting all your prejudges, right? The introduction before you walk up to that door. Whether it's big people, small people, skinny people, white people, purple people, black people, people that have this kind of car or that kind of car, the house looks like this. You got to get all those prejudges out of the way. That door is brand new. Buyers are liars. You never know that next prospect that's going to be the one call, one close. And I don't know how many times it's happened in my sales career where I might have had that prejudge. Come to find out I didn't put my full effort in. I drive by that house in the future and it got that product installed. Just because I thought that person couldn't get it because of the situation, whether financing, another company found the right fit for them. So prejudges, introduction, definitely throw it out the window.
And here's the thing, even before walking into the door, part of your introduction is that where do you park? Where do you park when you go into a sales call? Do you park in the grass? Or do you park in the driveway? Do you park in the swale?
I'm parking in the driveway behind the car if possible.
Well, and you got to be careful that hopefully your car is not leaking any oils, because the last thing you want to do is go into somebody's driveway and have oil leaked in, or park in their grass. I mean, if you look at somebody's grass and it's nice and neat, and all of a sudden you park in the grass, you just got a big no even before you walked in. Even before you said hello, you're already X'd out. So even if they don't have grass, I do not walk in their grass. It could be dirt, and I will not walk on the dirt. I will walk right through whatever the entry is. I won't cut. I walk right through where you're supposed to walk. When I knock on the door, I step back. I make sure I got my name tag on, and I step back at least 8 to 10 feet. If you're taller, you should be walking a little bit further. If you're smaller, enough that when they open the door, they can see you, and you want to make sure that you're in their line of sight without having to go on the grass. These are all important things that you should do.
And real quick, nowadays, it's still COVID, September 1st, 2021. We were talking about this in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please wear your mask out of respect of others. That person will judge you more if you don't have that mask on than you having that mask on. So that is one of your new introductions.
Yes, and unless they tell you to take it off, then
stay on.
Don't even bring it up. Can I take the mask off? Let them tell you, and you tell them that if you're vaccinated, tell them yes, I am vaccinated. But for the safety of everybody, if you want, I can maintain it. It's up to you. Whatever makes you guys more comfortable. Please take it off. Okay, I'll take it off. We'll just maintain our distance and no shaking of hands.
Look, if our kids can wear the mask for 6 hours in school, we can wear it for the sales presentation.
Absolutely. But anyways, those are some of the things that we definitely want to kind of include on our introduction, our intro, from the where you park and where you do the research. And I mean, we definitely on our next episode, we're going to go ahead and drill much deeper on our first step, which is the introduction. And I'm looking forward to our next episode to make sure that we do bring in that information just strictly about selling yourself and selling the company. I think those are easily a 45-minute deep dive into it. And our next episode, be on the lookout. It should be coming out very shortly.
Great.
And if you haven't subscribed by now, please do so. and hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything to like it or to subscribe to it, and you guys will do a great justice to us so we can keep putting content like this for your future podcasts.
It's only just begun, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning into T Talks. Glad to be back, Ralph.
All right. Well, with that said,
Crowd's getting bigger. I can see it. We do have an out. We are new to this podcast, Ralph. The DJ, go ahead and spin it. Well, we can end it with the bang right there. My name is Alex DeLuca. We are live back. Good night from Plantation. And good night from Plantation. See ya on the flip side.